Hey, sweet friends. Okay, I'm glad to be back in the kitchen with y'all tonight. Listen, so I had something else in mind that I wanted to make tonight, but I had this leftover rotisserie chicken, and as you can see, it is quite a bit, pretty much the whole thing. We just nibbled around on it, on the wings, and you know how you do. So I needed to use this. So, and I didn't want to go to the store. So I have put together this little chicken and rice casserole dish that I think we're going to love. Actually, I had seen a recipe similar to this, and so I just kind of built mine based off of that and just kind of changed it up a little bit. So let me show you what we got here. All right, so I have everything ready to go. I have our rotisserie chicken. I'm going to put this together, y'all, and then I will, after we get it all good and going, I'll come back and tell y'all some of the little extras that I did to add that extra flavor that I like to do. Y'all know what I'm talking about, okay? Rotisserie chicken, and this was a lot of chicken. Even though it wasn't the whole thing, it is still quite a bit, okay? In here, I think, let me fluff it up a little bit. I'm thinking I have about 2.5 to 3 cups of minute rice, okay? And I cooked it. I added some good flavors in this. Like I said, I'll come back and tell y'all about that. But we're going to mix this in our casserole. And remember, you don't ever want to overcook your rice, especially if you are putting it in the oven and cooking it longer. Let me see how that goes right there. Okay, and then in this little, I'm just going to use the same spoon, be just fine. In this bowl here, I have a block of cream cheese and 1 stick of butter. We're just going to, well, I may need my little whisk. Hang on a minute. Where is my little one that I like to use for stuff like this? Y'all know that one that I tell you it's kind of broke, but it's real small. It's perfect for stuff like this, and now I can't find it. It's probably got just shoved down in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Good. You see, it's so it only has 3 little things, but it's perfect for stuff like this. Oh man, so I'm gonna try to mix this up together. What I did was I put these in here and I let it oh man, I'm making a mess with everything tonight. I did pop this in the microwave for just a few minutes, mostly to melt that butter. But the cream cheese kind of gets soft just by sitting out. But your butter, if you want to mix it like this, you about have to heat it just a little bit. So that's what I did with this. Okay, that's looking better. Okay. That is going to go in our mixture here. All right, let me get this up here. Let me wipe my hand off. I got that on there. Yeah, I had seen this recipe, and there was a few adjustments that I thought, well, I think I would like that, but there's a few things I wanted to change. And so I did, and I just did things based off of things that I have here at home. Okay, now the original recipe called for 1 can of cream and chicken soup. Now, if you want to add that, you certainly can. Y'all know I don't love cream and chicken soup. So what I do in situations whenever I don't want to use cream and chicken soup, I will do sour cream and chicken broth, okay? And just depending on how much I need, depends on how much I make, okay? So for this, for example, I am doing 1/2 a cup of sour cream and 1/2 a cup of chicken broth. That way you get that thick, creamy texture, but then you also get that good and savory chicken flavor from the chicken broth, okay? So this is what I'm doing instead of cream and chicken soup. You can do whichever one you want. If you're like me and you don't love those soups, then if you like sour cream And, you know, that's why I always like to keep the little chicken broth powder containers on hand, because you can mix up however much you want and it works out perfectly. Okay, so that is going in. All right, let's see. Let me think. Okay, and then now we are going to do a packet of this Italian season mix. Y'all know that I love. This is just the Walmart brand, but you can get that other brand. What is it? Nature's something. I can never remember the name of that. I can, but not whenever I'm on here. Nature Seasonings or something like that. Anyway, whole packet of that. And then I've got some shredded cheese here. I've got just some Kobe and Monterey Jack. I'm thinking we're going to want to do about a cup, and then we want to save some out to go on top, of course. Okay. Let me think. Let's get us a good spoon here so we can mix this up. I'm thinking, do we have everything? Oh, I know I wanted to add some garlic in too. Let me get this mixed up. We'll get that. And I left a little bit of the skin on the chicken this time. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It really just depends on what I'm using it for and how cooked it is on there. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like it's just too, I don't know, like stretchy and not a little, if it has a little crunch on it, then I like it. I like a little bit of it, but if it don't, then I don't. Okay, let me get out just a little bit of garlic, which we could probably go without it, but I'm gonna get some out anyway. Where is my garlic? I don't know why I forgot that, but anyway. Like if that skin is kind of chewy and soft, I don't care for it. All right, so I'm just gonna add in just a good little teaspoon like this of garlic. Okay, and I have my oven on 375. I have a 9x13 dish over here that I have sprayed. Okay, let's get this put in here. Smells good, y'all, I know that. I love these glass bowls, y'all, but they are so heavy to try to hold up with one hand when they're full and try to use your other hand to spoon it out. Once you get it out, you can, but goodness, these are heavy. They're thick. They're just really, really thick, but I love them for mixing. I'll get the rest of that out in just a second. That thing is heavy. All right, let me move this out of the way so y'all can see. And then you just push that down in there like that. Now I think if you wanted to add some broccoli to this, that would be great too. Or even whatever veggies you want to do. But I think this is a very good chicken and rice combo. You can't get better than just a good chicken and rice casserole. Inexpensive, whether you cook your own, you can also do your own chicken or do the rotisserie. Even if you do the rotisserie, what are they, $5? And then, so yeah, a good budget-friendly meal. I'm just going to push that off there with my finger. Get that in there. Okay. Wipe my hand off. I don't think there's enough left in there to even worry about, so we're not going to worry about it, y'all. All right, we're going to sprinkle a little cheese over the top. And y'all, the last casserole I made, I think it was obviously some kind of chicken casserole. And I made a topping to go on it, like, you know, with the Ritz crackers, but I added some extra stuff to it. And I tell you what, that made the best topping. So today, whenever I decided that I was going to make this, I spent 30 minutes or so looking back over my videos to remember how I made that topping, because I wanted to make it again. And I couldn't remember. It was one of those things that I just threw together on a whim, and I couldn't remember how I did it. So anyway, we're going to do that again. It was so good. It made the little topping so crunchy, so much flavor. I loved it. So we're going to do that again. All right. So it's one of these little half packs of the Ritz crackers. Okay. Y'all know I love to get these little half packs because they work perfect for stuff like this. It's a perfect amount. You don't have to worry about the other half getting stale. So that's what I love about it. And then we're going to do about 1/4 of a cup of just breadcrumbs. These are just the plain. If you want to do the seasoned ones, you can. And in there, in there I have about half a stick of butter. And let's see, what else did I say that I wanted to add? All right, so a little bit of my blend. I love this. If you don't have this, just add in a little bit of salt, pepper, and garlic. It'll be perfect, okay? So just a little bit. It just kind of seasons all that up, and then a little bit of parsley, of course. And that whenever I look back, I'm going by what I added that one day, and it was so good. I have just a little bit of parm left in this. I'm going to toss that in there. I think whatever dish I was making that day, I was using parm, and so that's why I decided to throw some in. And then a little bit of cheese. Now, the main thing about this is, you know, you want to melt your butter to mix all this up, but then you want to make sure it is cooled off because you don't want your you don't want to be trying to mix it up and your cheese stringing everywhere. You know what I'm saying? So make sure ahead of time to go ahead and melt your butter and let it sit aside and stay melted, but just not hot. And this mixes up really well. And y'all, I tell you, it was so good on that casserole that I made it on. I can't remember if I told y'all or not. And it was just something that I just decided to do different. And it was perfect. And I thought, I won't never do another topping different from this from now on. All right. So we are just going to put this all over the top. It gets so crunchy. I think the breadcrumbs is one thing that helps it. And then the seasoning and then just the cheese in there with it. It is so good. Okay. I want to add a little bit of chives. But we'll do that later. Okay, so what I'm going to do, y'all, I am going to cover this and pop it in the oven, 375 for about 15 minutes or so. We don't have to cook this long because everything is already done. And then I'll take the foil off and cook it a little bit longer. So let me get that done, get it in the oven, get this cleaned up. I'll come back and I'm going to tell you a few little tips and tricks that I did in my prep work to get this put together. Okay, y'all, so I did 15 minutes covered because I want to do a little bit longer uncovered. That way all of this can get good and golden and that good pretty color. So I'm going to pop it back in the oven, uncovered, and I think we're going to do about 20 minutes, okay? So back in it goes. And y'all, y'all know I tell you this all the time. What I love about oven dishes like this is I have everything cleaned up. You know, I had all those bowls and all that, everything that I had all those ingredients in for my prep work. It's all cleaned up, dried, and put up. And I love that. And I even had a few minutes left to sweep the floor. I didn't, but I thought about it. I should have. Anyway, let me tell y'all a few of the things that I did. So, the recipe called for 3 cups of rice. And you can do a long grain, you can do a seasoned, you can do a minute rice, you can do whatever kind you want. I had a little bit of white minute rice, I had a little bit of brown minute rice. So I just combined those two to make enough. And I thought, okay, that's great. I can toss away those 2 boxes out of my cabinet, and I'm using things up. So I did that, and I think I come up to about 1.5 cups dry. So cooked, you're going to have about 3 cups. And you notice I didn't use all of it. I don't really think a whole 3 cups is necessary. So I would more do along the line of 2.5 cups if I were you. But, you know, this is my first time making it, so I'm just suggesting that. Anyway, the recipe called for green onions. I did not have any, so what I did in that pot that I had my rice in, I put a little bit of butter in there and a little bit, y'all know I love this. Get you a container of this when you go to the store the next time. It's just Land O'Lakes, garlic and herb. It's not that expensive. I just use just a little bit of it, mix it with my other butter to give a good little extra flavor. It's very flavorful, very good. So anyway, and I started that pot with a little bit of butter, a little bit of that seasoned butter, and then I put in maybe a 1/4 cup of diced up onions, just regular onions. Let them saute up just a little bit, and then I added in my liquid. I added in some chicken bouillon. Let that come up to a good boil, and then I added in my minute rice, and you know, I just mix it all up in there really good. And as soon as it kind of starts to boil a little bit, I take it completely off the heat, leave the lid on it, and just don't touch it. And I always do a little bit less water than, you know, for a minute rice, you're supposed to do equal parts. I always do a little bit less. For it, and so to me that just makes it better, and especially with something like this when you're going to be cooking it again in the oven, you don't want mushy rice. Okay, so that's just my preference, and it's just like a little tip that I like to pass on. So I just did that, moved that off the heat, let it sit there. It just sat there the whole time while I was doing all my other stuff, getting the chicken and everything tore apart. So that was something I did, and then I showed y'all the little extra things in the crackers. That's a delicious little topping. Like I said, I loved it on that last casserole that we made. I don't know if I expressed that, how much I loved it, but I did. And so I knew I wanted to do it again. And then, oh yeah, and you can either do the cream of chicken, or you, if you're like me and you don't love those little things of soups, you can do the sour cream with your chicken broth. And for this time, for this recipe, I did half and half. 1/2 cup of sour cream, 1/2 cup of chicken broth. Mix it up. It works out perfect. You still have that good chicken savory flavor. And remember, we also added some chicken bouillon to the rice. So it works out good. You can always make something with what you have. Or if it's not, or if there's an ingredient in there that you know, I'm sure I have some cream of chicken in the cabinet. I just didn't want to put it in there because I just feel like sometimes, like I said, I do use it sometimes, but for certain things, I felt like this was one of those recipes, especially using the rotisserie chicken. I thought that flavor of that cream of chicken is going to kind of overtake the recipe. For me, because I just don't like that strong flavor of it. You may love the flavor of it, and if you do, then that's fine. Go ahead and use the cream of chicken. I just don't, so I choose not to. But anyway, I just wanted to tell y'all that about how I did my rice and how I did added the onions in there since I didn't have green onions, because you wouldn't want to toss just raw onions in this dish, because you're going to have crunchy onions whenever it gets done, most likely. Anyway, y'all hear Bella there snoring. She's wore out. I've been trying to get us back in shape, especially her. You know, she's put on some weight, and a lot of that's my fault. And so I feel like I've got to, and she loves to go hiking. It's not like I'm pushing her or making her. She loves to go. But, you know, this spring, we've just not had good weather like we normally do, you know. And, so I'm trying to get her exercise every single day, and she'll lose it quick. She always does, but it's just taking a little bit longer this year, I guess, because we hadn't been going like we should. But anyway, I just know it will make her feel better. She can get around better. She can jump better, because she still wants to jump and get around like a puppy. And I feel like I need to push her to be able to be her best, because she pushes herself too. But anyway, I'm gonna let this cook. I hadn't even put my timer on. So how long's it been, y'all? What, maybe 5 minutes I've been yakking? So I'm gonna set my timer now for, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes or something, then I'll check it. But anyway, I'll be back whenever this gets done. It smells so good. Oh my gosh, y'all, this looks and smells fantastic. I'm going to just do a little bit of parsley up at the top. And I have these few little chives here that I'm just going to take my scissors and chop them up over the top and let this cool down for a minute, and then I'll come back and I'm going to taste it. Oh, let me tell you what I did. So I did, when I put it back in there, I did about 20 minutes, I'm guessing, because remember I was talking. I'm thinking it was about 20 minutes, and the edges were already getting good and golden, and so then I turned it on broil for just, I mean, maybe like, it didn't take 2-3 minutes just to get all of this good and golden, and I think that it's going to be really crispy on top, and I think it's going to be great. But anyway, I'm going to let it cool and I'll come back. Hey y'all, alright, I've had me some out here cooling, and now we are going to do the taste test. I can't wait any longer. I'm sure it's not completely cool, but a little bit. This phone, I always have it so crooked, y'all. There's no telling how y'all see it, the way I always get it fixed. Y'all, the texture, the creaminess of this is perfect. So, what I want to tell you, I think this would be great with, if you wanted to add some broccoli in, but you would definitely want to add a little bit more liquid, because it's probably going to be too thick, okay? I knew this was going to be good. This is good. Y'all got to try this. Put this on you. Grocery list. This is a good one. And look how much it makes. This will feed so many people, or, I mean, everybody's going to want seconds. So, this is good for a family night dinner. That topping has that good crunch on it, like I was telling y'all about. I love it. That just makes it. I'm telling you, I will not do another cracker topping without doing it that way. I mean, it makes that much of a difference. It really does. The rice, all of it's perfect, y'all. I think I know a lot of times people like to add the vegetable in and just have it all in there, but personally myself, this is so good like this. I would just do the broccoli or green beans or whatever on the side. But, you know, you do whatever works for you. But that's what I would do. This is fantastic. That little bit of cheesiness in it. It is so good. Kids will love this. It is perfect. And I can't even take all credit for it, because like I said, this is a recipe that I seen, kind of tweaked it, changed it up a little bit. But it is fantastic. I will definitely make this again. This is probably one of my favorite chicken and rice casseroles. Yep. But anyway, I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.